Hello, hello. We're going to do a show, so gather round, folks, and let yourselves go. God bless you, madam. God bless you. Thank you very much indeed.
Now.
That's it. Try again. That felt good, huh?
Yeah. Right.
No, that was wrong. That was a bad one. Yeah. You went off centre. Well.
Films are a form of entertainment, and you don't go. You can go to church for a sermon. You don't go into a cinema to be preached to.
I always want to say something to an audience in a film. I want it to say something and remain with an audience. I mean, it would be silly to suggest that we're making all very private, sort of personal films just for ourselves. That's nonsense. We're making films for as wide an audience as we can get in as possible.
Director of award-winning Midnight Cowboy, Jon Schlesinger makes ambitious films, has known failure and success.
We set out to entertain the largest mass of audience we can find.
Director of Carry On Cowboy, Gerald Thomas makes films which have earned money but won no Oscars yet. Pinewood Studios, one of Britain's film factories. Movie making usually begins with an intangible idea in someone's head, ends with rolls of celluloid kept in cheap tin cans. The expense is enormous. The cash value of the end product lies only in the number of people who will pay to see the picture. Supposedly, there are several million fans waiting to see the next James Bond epic, Live and Let Die. Jane Seymour is the latest Bond maiden, Roger Moore, the latest Bond. Director Guy Hamilton made Goldfinger and Diamonds Are Forever. On this picture, he can call on £200,000 worth of camera equipment and a highly skilled, very expensive team of technicians and actors.
I beg your pardon, you're right. That's it. Thank you. Ready, yes?
736, take 8.
Of the films we follow in the course of their production, this is the one almost guaranteed to succeed.
Roger! Right?
Get him out, please. Get him out. Let the boys do it, Roger.
The last Bond release, starring Sean Connery, grossed £6.5 million in the first 12 days of worldwide screening. Raising £3.5 million for Live and Let Die was therefore no problem, even in the risky world of film finance.
There is an element of gamble and risk, obviously there must be, because you can't, in my opinion, market people. Therefore, there is a risk in anything in entertainment, because unless the public want you or take you to their hearts and go to see you, you've lost your money.
The big time of the movie industry, of the stars and moguls, belongs to those long-gone days when the big screen was the cheapest available entertainment for everybody. These studios were built during the Depression in 1936. In 1948, there were 25 studios operating in Britain. In the 60s, 1,000 people worked here. In 1970, these 10 film stages, then 20% of the industry's entire studio space, were sold for frozen food storage. Today, only 3 major studios survive in Britain. There are always people who dream of making pictures, and others who dream of making a fortune financing them. The odds are a cold 7-2 against success. The hazards of translating an idea into a movie are enormous. The rewards of success are, of course, spectacular. From the outset, films are about finance, and traditionally filmmakers make their films with other people's money.
And films, particularly being considered by the city a rather dicey operation, do take a lot of trouble to finance.
I believe that all of us find difficulty finding finance for anything that we want to do, which perhaps is out of the ordinary. And we've really got to continue, I think, to do what we want to do, if possible. Otherwise, we will not survive.
The survival of the industry depends, primarily, on a supply of good ideas. The Optimists, 2 years ago, was just one more script in search of a star and ready money. The central character of the story is a lonely street entertainer who lives in a hovel on the muddy banks of a disused canal. His name is Sam, and he scrapes a living tap dancing and singing along the pavements of the West End. In the mind of his creator, Sam is one of life's wise, proud casualties. Director Tony Simmons, who wrote the book, and the producers of the film believe in the universal appeal of Sam's character.
And some steps up.
Yes, we want the rail up to and the steps
So
up
the
to
kids
come
can be
up
mucking about in the bar.
Sometimes scripts and characters are not so clear to the money men in the somewhat bitter experience of Jon Schlesinger.
Yes, we love it, Jon. We want to do it. And come and explain the script to us, will you? And you know straight away, oh, Jesus, that's Black Mark. Go and explain the script. So you explain the script.
Do they understand?
Cap in hand. They say they understand, but then I've begun to see where the red lights are now. You know, and you recognize it. It's the bullshit that goes in. We love you, Jon, and all that rubbish. Crap.
over the
above
top
the
of the
line
train.
of change, yeah.
During their search for a canal location 2 weeks before shooting, the Optimists have been getting places. They've found a possible home for Sam, their central character, and they've secured nearly all their money.
Jesus.
Yes. And I'll put some stays right down as well to hold them up.
Now the package is all but bought and sold. The loose financial ends all but tied up. It's time to start spending big money on
Some
production.
stays right down there.
But what we want, if you can put a kind of door there,
Yes,
when he takes his pram out for the opening, it will look as though he's going through a door, and as we pan, we'll see there's absolutely no wall at all. Yeah?
That's right. If we can keep his personal possessions within this little area.
In the back streets of Putney, a long way from the elegant lawns of Pinewood, the Optimists are based at Hotham Studios. Once a community centre, it's a useful place for a picture with a £300,000 budget and a star part for a star who hasn't signed yet. As with many films today, the scenes are mostly shot on location. The few interiors can be shot in the main hall. The other rooms have enough space for the production departments. At the moment, the producers are still negotiating with the bankers and the star. This is a difficult time. Decisions must be taken, for example, to make a wardrobe for a star who hasn't signed up, while everyone waits for the investors to nod.
I suppose 80% of the preparation time is spent in waiting for a decision, in wondering if it's ever going to happen.
At Hotham Studios, there is the silence of the grave, interrupted only by the melancholy notes of a piano tuner at work. He came by appointment and remains undeterred by tragedy. A banker with a £75,000 stake in the Optimists has withdrawn his money. A producer has flown to New York to try and negotiate a new deal. Even the props for the star who may never use them have an anxious air. Everyone seems to be holding his breath.
And the difficulty of getting something off the ground makes it so long before you can make films, before something can get the green light to go. And I believe, you know, in continuity of work is very important. Otherwise you become stale and frustrated and apathetic. And finally unenthusiastic, and that's the danger that I think we all face here.
One step ahead of the Optimists, another production, 1 week from the start of shooting. 6 months ago, director Robert Fust wrote the 4th draft for a film called The Final Programme. Since then, he's turned down 3 other films while he's waited for his producers to sell the package. They've been getting it together for 2 years. It's cost them £10,000 of their own money, not counting their time. Today, Fust is setting up an action sequence on location. If he seems a touch overexcited, it's because the deal has been signed and the money's come through.
And there's all this, which is...
That's got to be good, isn't it?
Got to be good, isn't it? And he stands here and there's mist here, and he fires a Very pistol. And it bursts. Up there, yeah. Lovely. Yeah. And over there is old John, you know? And so he sets off in that direction. Yeah. And you really feel, I mean, it's good news, all that, isn't it? Don't you think? I mean, as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh boy, you know, it must be good news, you know, down here on a 25 or something, anyway, all big foreground. Because, you see, down there's a landing stage, which isn't nearly as good. No. It's all kind of umpty-umpty. Sort of.
The final programme, after shooting at EMI Studios, will be distributed in Britain by MGM EMI. Anglo EMI, who put up half the money, will distribute abroad. Back at home, a sheer coincidence, EMI owns the ABC cinema chain. The hilarious structure of this entertainment giant has another built-in gag. EMI Studios charge the producers for studio space and services.
Trevor, you go over and make up one of those, or get one of them legs and get it put up over there for him, all right? OK, Bob, and we'll carry on the mark.
The film is a science fiction thriller based on a book by Michael Moorcock. It's one of a sequence of novels written around a central character, Jerry Cornelius. In the hope of creating a film series, the producers have bought up the books. The hero seems to be, to the new world of women's lib and computer technology, what James Bond is to the old culture of glamorous hardware and women with makeup. The publicity handouts give a thumbnail sketch of Jerry Cornelius, played by Jon Finch.
Jerry Cornelius is, at 27, a considerable sexual athlete, a crack shot with a pressurized needle gun, a superlative fighter, and a modest intellectual. Cornelius is a hard-boiled egghead who is also tall and romantic-looking, wears his black hair shoulder length, runs a 1936 bulletproof motor car, can pilot a plane, manage a submarine, and likes to drink whiskey.
Off you go to your left.
He is solitary, ruthless, dryly witted, mystical, and strangely likable.
The camera tests for the leading actors take half a day and a full crew. It may seem an expensive investment in shots that will never be used, but the look of the actors on camera and their interaction as personalities are vital information to the director. Jenny Runacre takes the female lead.
Playing a prominent part in the bizarre exploits of Jerry Cornelius is Miss Brunner. She's a stunningly beautiful and insatiable girl. Her hair is red and long. She's sharp-faced and has the look of an attractive predator.
I think that the choice of actors is a very long and arduous and somewhat nerve-wracking experience, because you know that the success of the film can possibly hang on the right casting, the right chemistry, because I really think casting, particularly in the cinema, is something to do with an indefinable quality and is a sort of chemistry.
The Finch-Runacre chemistry is tried out in a dialogue rehearsal without cameras.
Come with me. Now.
Sod off.
Bollocks, why not?
I have it on fairly good authority that the world is coming to an end.
So?
So I thought I'd go home and watch it in television.
Typical.
Yes, typical.
The sexual athlete and the insatiable girl are put through their paces at an extremity of verbal bluntness. The raw dialogue gets the chemistry working, according to the director.
Sorry, my love, I know it's difficult.
Yeah, really
When you pull him, typical, when he comes across here, if you could pull him slightly closer to you, just for this moment.
Okay,
So it's... I thought I'd go home and watch it on TV.
I'll go home and watch it on television.
Typical.
Yes, typical.
Look, come to Lapland with me.
Come to Lapland with you?
Look, you haven't met Jewel yet.
And who the hell is that?
The ultimate in computers.
Computers got us into this mess.
This one is going to get us out.
Well, if you get your mucky little hands on
Look,
it.
this one is different.
Oh, I suppose it floats and you're going to use it as an ark.
Look, Mr. Cornelius, I am just as interested in survival as you are. So think about what I've said. We're running out of time.
I hate long goodbyes, Miss Brunner, so piss off.
Yes. Give or take.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah. What we do, as they go, so we just drift on.
Yes.
Fust is both writer and set designer on this film, but as its director, his most difficult task will be to balance a natural desire for quality against the imposed limits of time and money.
I don't think with the people with any pride go around wanting to, you know, going around on the set and waiting till 5 o'clock in the evening because inspiration hasn't struck them or something ridiculous like that. I think one's got to be absolutely, totally professional about what one's doing and responsible about what you're doing. But I do think that quality is sometimes a fairly costly commodity.
Costs rise enormously when I tell you that although they are made with exactly the same schedule and exactly the same cast, and you will probably say with exactly the same jokes, they cost over 3 times as much today in the same studio to make as the first one did 15 years ago. And this is rising all the time.
Do you want that scare or tinge? We never really got into that, did we?
At production meetings before filming begins, every contingency is covered and insured against, from bad weather to a broken ankle. If there are no miscalculations or unforeseen problems to cope with, shooting in the studio won't exceed £5,000 a day. Mistakes could double the figure. The budget of several £100,000 has been costed out in detail, from a lighting cameraman at a minimum of £250 a week to hot lunches on a week's location in Turkey. 8:30 in the morning on the first day of shooting the final program. To get here, Bob Fust worked for 6 months without picking up a penny until the backers signed their checks to finance the film. The risks of the film industry are shared 3 ways unequally. The burden falls on the producers. To show a profit, their film must usually earn 2.5 times its budget. The prospect of turning cherished ideas into pictures for the millions is a dazzling one, but it's tempered by the fact that before the filmmakers get any money, the cinema owner will take his cut, the distributor will take his fee, 30% or more of the gross, and his often spectacular expenses. Only then will he share what's left with the makers. From the day shooting begins, time is money with a vengeance.
I mean, you know that the cost pressure is on you, that the time pressure is on you, that you've got to make quick decisions, and you quite often cannot undo those decisions.
Peter?
A film called The 14 in the last days of shooting. Planned as an all-location picture, it ran into trouble. While one of the cast recovered from an injury, the prime location was lost to redevelopment. In the midst of shooting, a copy of the derelict house had to be built at Pinewood Studios. The director is David Hemmings.
David Hemmings is the epitome of a Renaissance man. He paints, he writes music, he plays the guitar, he races cars, he performs magic tricks.
No, it's okay, Arnold.
Producer Robert Mintz was working in Hollywood when he read in the Los Angeles Times a story of a British family, 12 brothers and 2 sisters, who refused after their mother's death to be separated. Mintz flew to England at his own expense, tracked the family down in the Midlands, and signed up the film rights. Jack Wilde leads the tough, undisciplined tribe. Loyal to one another, they're mistrustful of well-meaning social workers.
Thing on the iron is what wakes them up, right?
What about our suitcases, Dave?
What's all the stuff that you've got when you don't have any suitcases?
Movement order number 18. Location, British Rail Yard, St Irvins Road, London, West 10. Transport to be on location 9 a.m. Electricity van, 2 generators, construction van, prop van, camera car, sound car, wardrobe van, unit cars, caravans, dining bus, makeup caravan, 6 artists' caravans. Catering for 95 people. Tea or coffee on arrival, 8:45 a.m.
Packaged by independent producer Frank Avianca, the film has a budget of about £350,000. Avianca, who claims Sicilian descent, says he wanted to put the story of the 14 on film, not just to make a profit, but because it reminded him of his own childhood in New York before his father became a rich man.
Okay with you?
Okay with me.
Hemmings objected to the first draft of the 14 for its Dickensian sentimentality. When the producers agreed to the modern slums of Britain and their unsentimental inhabitants as a setting, Hemmings agreed to direct.
I find filming so difficult and such an enormous responsibility and an arduous task.
It is not a glamorous industry to work in from behind the camera point of view. It's a very hard-working industry. In fact, I would think we probably work harder and longer hours than almost any other industry.
Hemmings has finished directing the last scene of the 14. The pressures of 10 weeks filming with children, the problems of having to rebuild an entire location 2 weeks after he started filming are out of the way. For the benefit of the real family, on whose life story the screenplay of the 14 is based, a trust has been set up to administer the money paid for the film rights, £5,000, plus a percentage of the profits if the film goes into profit. The real family are still very hard up. The 14 are now 2 steps ahead of the Optimists, 1 ahead of the final program, in the long process of translating an idea into a movie. In terms of the production, such high spirits are, perhaps, a touch premature. The 14 still has to be sold, and before it's sold, it has to be cut. Up to this point, they have spent £250,000. As a reminder to everyone concerned that there is more to making a film than just shooting, a little presentation for the artistic side has been arranged by the man who raised the money, Frank Avianca.
We want to thank Liz, who may not recover, depending on what the budget is, and, of course, David. Now, you did your speech. Now, you all know that my father came to visit the picture. I sent him off to Sicily, and I asked him to bring back a present for all 3 of you, right? Because all during the picture, we've had little references as to where the finance for the picture was coming from. Exactly, you know, all those disparaging remarks to my Sicilian heritage. So I have asked the Pope to bless these particular presents. Don't thank me yet. But I got 2. What are you laughing for? It's serious. My father went to see the Pope. They've been blessed by the Pope. They're specially designed for 3 likable guys who have showed me great loyalty. Wonderful. Also Robert Mintz, whose next feature will be made in Kenya. Believe it? David Hemmings, who has just signed the contract to develop the Seychelles. And David Griffith, whose next job is dubious, to say the least. So I have got the 2 Maslin brothers, who are going to present these 2 presents. The share between the 3 of you comes straight from Sicily, and I want you to know that my father spared no expense to show you Sicilian gratitude. Gentlemen, if you would please give my trio... Go! I don't have to pay no equity to nobody.
Many a true shot is fired in jest, but the conflict between money and talent in filmmaking isn't always a joke. Shooting is only a beginning in the hard process of making a story into a celluloid reality.
And then when everything is a fact, and you're in the cutting room and having to make it work, and they, the people, technicians, actors, writers, have become it on celluloid. I love working with it because they can't answer back and you can cut it, and that's marvellous.
David Hemmings clearly likes directing. In 10 weeks, he's shot 61 hours of film. Run without cutting, it would last 2.5 days. His task now is to cut all that material down to 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Want to hear it a bit more? Yeah.
Hemmings is now faced with a whole new set of decisions, where and when to cut and how much.
Slip it.
The best of the raw material must now be selected. For Hemmings, the challenge is to recapture his original vision of the 14, to recreate the theme of the story from 62 miles of film. The editor, John Shirley, and the composer, Kenny Clayton, help him to build cinema magic in the cutting rooms.
Pause. Of course, that'll be pushed.
Well, that's the thing we've got to be most careful about, isn't it?
What, the last moment? Yeah.
Killing the dialogue.
How do you mean killing the dialogue?
Well, when she
Well,
says that,
if we have
she's
the
very
end of
chesty,
the
isn't she?
if we have the end of the Alleluia chorus,
it's going to be over for
full strength, we'll never get the end of her
No,
line.
but the most important point is to fade it down immediately after she has done that lean on the side of the sofa, which she goes, ah, boom, right?
And then
we
the
get
final
that moment, and then we can bring up
Hallelujah.
the dialogue underneath it and fade it out. I mean, it'll still be there, but I mean, it'll be there only...
not to the strength
not
it
at
is
the
at the
strength
moment.
it is at the moment, exactly. I'll tell you what, put it right back to the top. That's nice, that'll work well, go on. About another 5 seconds, you want? 3, 4, 1. Now, David Sponge, it's all going on. Right. In through the door. She's in.
Well, I think you've constantly got to challenge yourself and challenge your audience if you're going to, in any way, produce anything that's finally good.
And I feel very strongly that everything that goes on the screen, be it comedy, be it drama, whatever you like, should be basically entertainment for the public. This is what it's all about.
Well, I don't know what you mean by entertainment. I mean, if you mean entertainment, it sometimes can mean escapist, something that merely escapist. Or entertainment can also mean to really engage the attentions of your audience, which I believe it to mean as well. And which can mean that it can do almost anything. It can amuse them, it can excite them, it can shock them. It can make them think about something. It can make them enter into an experience that they've never previously had and understand that experience.
would we play that back to the picture, John, and I'll add on the other tracks now. Okay?
Right.
Reign forever and ever. And he shall reign forever and ever. And he shall reign, and he shall reign forever.
Financially, making films is mostly about filling cinemas, but it's also about taking something intangible, a story, and putting it on celluloid. When that's done, there's the real ordeal of showing it to the backers and distributors.
To be quite honest, we don't very often sit with them. We normally send a print up and they run it. We've given up a long time ago because Peter and I used to go out and get sloshed after. We were so depressed when you sort of sat there with a stony silence for an hour and a half. We'd walk outside and say, my God, you know, it's not worth it. It's the last one. We go to the nearest pub.
The showing to the distributors, for me, is always vital. I'm desperate that they should like it and really get behind the film in selling it.
I'm not saying the producer and director are always right in what they say, but I think they have a right to know how it's going to be sold. I don't say they have a right necessarily to interfere if it is at the expense of the promotion of the picture.
Publicity is the distributor's job. To create a public appetite for a release, they will use quotes which range from the lurid to the whimsical.
See it you must. The sort of film that grips from the first title shots and holds you so fiercely that you daren't spend a penny.
The first clue the public are given to a new film is often the poster advertising it. Designed for publicity, it aims to sell immediately. At the same time, it should have some connection with the story of the film, if only in fairness to the public and the director. Perhaps there's a basic difference between directing and selling films.
I tell you, the way I see it, you've got a situation where this girl is a real, regular scrubber, a bitch, an evil little girl that's looking in onto this household, which is disestablished anyway. And I think that's the angle.
No channel of audio-visual communication is neglected in pursuit of the plug.
This is to introduce the main theme from Concerto for Harry, featured in the Michael Klinger production, Something to Hide, starring Peter Finch and Shelley Winters.
Publicity offices are think tanks in pursuit of soulful slogans.
You can only live a lie for so long. Sometime, somewhere, something will give you away. A man lived alone with his torturing secrets. Then menace walked in as a girl of 17.
Now, will you match your hairs? Look. You want to be over the shoulder a bit. Yeah.
Will it come down straight, just to match it up a bit more? That's better.
It's better.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Righto, Joe, you can get dressed now. Len, we don't want any boobs in this, right?
No, of course. Joe, can we have the feeling of anger in the right hand? Press it down. That's a little bit of anger there, okay? That's fine.
As you suggested, we have raised that, as you can see, which enables us to get these this billing over just that little bigger, and I think they're coming out about right now.
You happy about the green background?
Yes, I think so. I do think that you'll have to print 6 colours there, though, George, because you'll get that green. Makes it nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it very much, Rex and Ben. It's a good job of art. I think the motif that we intended comes off.
And it's a simple image. I think a memorable image. It's a stopper.
Thank you for letting me see the draft script of your new...
From his office in Soho Square, the film censor keeps an eye on Wardour Street, Filmland's headquarters, just around the corner. Contrary to popular belief, the censor's not a civil servant. He's appointed by the film industry and is supposed to be independent of it. His job's to protect the public from the excesses of the industry and the industry from the intolerance of the public. The present censor is Stephen Murphy.
Page 18, scene 37. Honestly, we cannot have language like this in a film aimed for a AA rating. I'm sure you'll use your discretion and keep the language as mild as you can.
We never submit a script to the censor. We've learnt over the years this is not a good thing for us to do. We submit the picture. Because if you submit a script and you read it in the cool light of day, you can find all sorts of things which, when played by Kenneth Williams or Sid James, have no longer any harm in them. But to read them, they have. So we don't submit scripts, we submit pictures.
Page 22, scene 36. This shooting, as it stands, is far too gruesome. Can you please reduce it? We never do like this multiple shooting idea, and I'm afraid it is way over the top for us at the moment.
I'm personally terribly opposed to violence and opposed to needless violence in films. But by the same token, I don't think I would have I wouldn't censor it. I think a public must be allowed to make up its own mind about what it wants.
You are cordially invited to a screening at the British Lion Preview Theatre at 6:30 next Tuesday of A 2 foot 6 inch above the ground world, starring Howell Bennett, Nanette Newman and Milo O'Shea.
In a comedy based on contraception. Hospitality dispensed for magazines. For producers and distributors, this is an anxious moment. From now on, their control over the public image of the product begins to slip. Reviewers may be malicious, inane, or worse, perceptive.
In Ireland?
Yes, will it be all right?
I hope it'll be all right. It was written by an Irishman. It's been seen by quite a few Irishmen and like it very much.
You haven't done an alternative ending for Ireland?
No, not at all. Do you think we'd have to?
Well, sort of by now.
2:12 here outside. It's in the middle of Bangkok. Sorry, I'm telling a dirty story. All about my friend in Thailand.
At the moment, all must be held in, but
Yes, I left it was in preparation.
I can't stay any longer. Are you going to leave too?
I mean, there may be a case for having a bigger theatre, you know, but that's another problem, isn't it?
I tell you, it's actually peeing with rain outside.
With the press show for the daily and Sunday papers, the film is vulnerable to popular criticism for the first time on a massive scale. The critics are well acquainted with the techniques of film promotion. It's part of their skill to sidestep the publicity and the temptations put in their way, and to assess the film. The critics influence the minority interested in films. The majority still depend on word-of-mouth publicity for their choice of entertainment. At the Evening Standard, a review of The Offence from the film critic Alexander Walker.
The Offence is a film to see, but be warned. It is not an easy film to follow, and for most people, it may be too brutal and rawly inaccessible to take to heart. Like that favorite drink of James Bond, if I may mention the name, we come out of it shaken, but not stirred.
The film premiere is considered by some sections of the industry to be an outmoded device. It can still draw a crowd, but nobody these days is in danger of being crushed to death by the film fans. Premieres have been called a vanity service to the industry. Perhaps they are, but the industry still rolls up in the often hired roles.
Sean Connery, not an avid premiere goer, is not known to have attended any of the openings of the James Bond films, which took him to international stardom and tremendous wealth. Tonight he breaks his rule to attend the world premiere of his latest film, The Offence. Among Connery's personal guests is Princess Bahar of Bahar, who adds glamour to tonight's opening.
I don't like premieres because I think the audience is a sort of fake one. But our poor old industry is in such a state, anything to bang the gong a bit.
I think we've got to bang our drum a lot more than we have done in the past few years. It is an entertainment industry, like the circus, if you like. Unless you bang the big drum, people aren't going to hear you.
The Rank Laboratories, where show prints are viewed for sound and picture quality before they're distributed for exhibition. It may seem that a film which has reached this stage is safely on its way to profit. In fact, the risks have spread. They now include the cinema manager, who may have the bad luck to show a good film in a heat wave, a power cut, or a transport strike. The risks of failure of being junked are increased by the closure of cinemas in their hundreds, and by a rapidly diminishing audience whose tastes grow ever less predictable.
Why, it's the only thing that separates us from the angels.
At first sight, the story of Pope Joan and the story of Carry On Abroad have little in common. But they're both aimed at the British audience, who 10 years ago paid £60 million at the box office. Today, the gross takings are still about 60 million much devalued pounds. Both these films were certainly made in the hope of holding the cinema goer. Over the last 10 years, admissions have fallen from 420 to 180 million. In the last decade, 1,000 cinemas have been closed down. These are some of the facts to be faced from the time of planning a film until its showprints are projected on the big screen for all the world to see.
It's a marvellous feeling for me, at any rate. I love it, to stand at the back of a cinema for the first time the picture's shown and hear whether or not the particular gags have come off.
I mean, if audiences want to see their favourite television serial blown up, larger, then I don't think, for me, I'm terribly interested in just aiming at a British audience.
At the end of the production line, some films still never reach the public, never make the journey to the cinema. They're not worth the money needed to advertise or show them. Such cases are mercifully rare. From here on, the personal vision of the writer, the producer, the director becomes public property.
I think all along the line you've got to protect that first thing that goaded you into making it. I mean, it's so easy, I suppose, to get stale after a long period of time. It's so easy to give in to the pressures of saying, all right, well, that will do. It won't do for me very often.
A camera crew on location by the muddy bank of a disused canal. From his hovel emerges Sam, the old music hall star who earns his living as a busker, ready to face the world. The Optimists, who overcame their financial disaster, are back on the road again. Their star, Peter Sellers, has signed up at last. Today, it seems that there's no business like show business.
Here, take some. Here, Chip. Donna.
It's a picnic, mister.
Aye.
It is, and a picnic's got to be in the country.
Oh, aye? Who told you that?
Our dad.
Did he?
Yeah. Picnic's got to have flowers and grass.
Oh. What else did he say, your dad? Tell an apple from an onion because he's always crying. A picnic's where you're enjoying it. You enjoying it? Right, then it's a picnic. A picnic's a flaming picnic.
It's not.
That's a rude word. Use your handkerchief. Coughs and sneezes spread diseases. Even walls have ears. Charming manners she's got, like that fella lived next door. Spent all day teaching himself how to be a brass band. Funny thing, he'd play the fiddle. Yes. Bella, what's he up to? Earwigging again? It's all in your head, you know. It's all in here. You know that, don't you? Inside your head, you can build...
An apple, skyscraper.
Yes, skyscraper. A palace.
Out of ideas dreamed up in people's heads, films are sometimes made, reels of cheap celluloid covered in expensive pictures. The odds against their success are very tough, but the rewards of success are spectacular. And if you fail today, there's always another film, another fortune to be made.
I haven't told her, hasn't told me, but we know it just the same. Saturday night on her city, oh, what a time there's going to be. I haven't told her, hasn't told me, but we know it just the same. She still calls me mister, but she won't, I know she won't, after I've kissed her. I've got an idea soon she'll be cooking my breakfast, wait and see. I haven't told her, hasn't told me, but we know it just the same. She still calls me mister, but she won't, I know she won't, after I've kissed her. I've got an idea soon she'll be cooking my breakfast, wait and see. I haven't told her, hasn't told me, but we know it just the same. Hey, up.